Okay,
We're good.
all right, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and call to order the special meeting of the CUSD Board of Education for June 17th, 2024. First item on the agenda is roll call. We get a roll call, please.
Yes, trustee Leon,
Here.
trustee Manhattan,
Here.
trustee Chow, absent, trustee Liu,
Here.
trustee Vogel, absent.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, item 1.2, board agenda approval. Could I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All right, great, thank you. And a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Leon,
Aye.
trustee Manhattan,
Aye.
trustee Liu,
Aye. All right, moving on, item 2. So this is for public comments, and since this is a special meeting, we're only taking public comments on items on the agenda. Do we have any speakers today, Aaron?
we do. We have one speaker.
Okay, let's go ahead and welcome the speaker.
Yes, Mary Lund. If you are on, please raise your hand. I do not see Mary in attendance.
Okay, all right, well, always welcome to email the board with your comments at board@cusdk8.org. All right, and then moving on to item number 3. This is an action item on adoption of amended resolution 23-2437. Since it's an action, could I get a motion first, please?
I'll move.
All right, thanks, Sylvia. And
I'll second it. Yeah.
thank you, thanks, Satish. All right, is there any sort of staff introduction or presentation for this
I
item?
think we'll just do a quick overview, so understanding exactly why we needed to bring this forward, because this resolution had already been approved by the board. We had it on the May 23rd and then brought the resolution on June 5th. But when we brought the resolution on June 5th, there was a portion where we didn't have the dollar amount inserted into the resolution, even though it had been stated. So we needed to revise this resolution with the actual dollar amount. This will go forward to the county office then tomorrow for their board meeting for approval.
Great, all right, thank you. Any
Any
questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, I have a question. So is it like this is like an upper limit or something which you have put it up to this 36 million, or is it like a ARF amount? Like,
it's a not to exceed.
okay. So this is just a placeholder kind of like you go, just to have some flexibility on that, or?
Well, as we shared with the board that we anticipate having a cash flow an issue because of property taxes and the payroll. So we anticipate needing to borrow from it at some point in time during the year, most likely just before October or November.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay. Any other please go ahead, Sylvia.
Chris, so just so I understand, I know that you've helped us understand what trans are for, but do we do one of these resolutions every time we have to use one, or is this kind of a resolution for any, how long is it good for? Is it good through like the school year or the calendar year, or just for this particular instance?
This particular resolution is for a one-time anticipated need for the fiscal year. So it covers one fiscal year at a time.
Okay. All right, thank
And
you.
most likely, as we move forward and further into basic aid, we may need to do this as an annual thing.
Okay, and is it also what is the connection to kind of the taxes deadline being moved to October? Is that connected to it, or is that a separate issue?
The issue is, again, that property taxes, when they do come to us as a basic aid district, come to us mainly twice a year.
Okay.
And because remember, property taxes, we all get assessed in November, December, and then again in the spring, in March and April. So that's really the timing of when we'll start receiving our bulk amount of property taxes.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, thanks, Sylvia. And then Ava, you have your hand up?
Hi, y'all. Yes. Chris, I do have a question. How do we come up with the amount of 36 million? Is it about how much we spend by that time around?
Yes, that's a great question. So the cash flow is a projection in terms of how much we spend and how much we received in any one given month. So at one point in time, based off of the size of our payroll and how much money we are taking in from other resources, that we've calculated that we would need to borrow as much as $36 million just to cover 1 month's worth of payroll, really.
So we have enough to get us to September, and this would cover or get us
We have enough to
through.
get it. We have enough to get us through to I believe it's like October. And then for the month of November, we would need to borrow for at least a month because the property taxes will be coming in, you know, that November, December window.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ava. The question I have, Chris, is so this is sort of like a credit line of sorts. Then it sounds like is it we take out the note for a certain period of time, or is it like a credit card where you charge what you need and then you kind of pay back whenever you're able to?
Well, I mean, the idea would be is that we would borrow the amount of cash that we would need for the short period of time.
Mhm.
And the expectation is that we would pay back the loan once we receive the property taxes back. So it's really,
So-
it's just very for a short period of time, and it may happen multiple times during the year because of the property taxes.
Got it. Okay, so it's oh, I see. So
Kind of like
could be
it is kind of in a way like a
multiple
line of
loans.
credit in a way.
Right. Okay. Great. Thank you. And I see Satish has his hand
Yeah,
up.
so is there an interest associated to this?
There's a borrowing rate for it, and I don't have that information off the top of my head.
No, but is it like kind of a reasonable one or this kind of things? Because this is kind of some help, right? So is it like a low interest or a borrowing rate or a higher one, or what is that? Like, or it's like a bank interest kind of?
If I recall what Dale Scott was saying, that it's not a premium rate that we're paying to borrow funds. It's been negotiated. There's a lot of other districts that participate in this program. So CSBA has negotiated the lowest rates that we can for a program like this. It's designed specifically for public school agencies. So, you know, they're not in the business of trying to gouge school districts because they need to borrow cash for cash flow purposes.
And what do we account in our multi-year that whatever that budget sheet? What do you put this line item? This interest, is it like it is part of the what is that expense actually? Yeah.
This is not a revenue nor an expense. It's cash. So we're not netting more money in the form of interest. If we were to, then it would show on the revenue line as additional interest, but this is just merely borrowing cash.
Okay, now I thought there is an expense, right? Because this 36 million you are borrowing, let's say you are 3 million you are paying as interest. So somewhere it has to be accounted, right?
Well, we're accounting for only the cash. There's no profit taking here. We're not generating more interest. So there's really nothing else that goes on our books. We're not recording added income nor any expenses other than we're just going to use the cash.
I think the question might be the interest that we pay on this loan. Where does that capture? If that's the question.
Yeah, exactly, Jerry. That's what I was.
Well, as I understand, the interest that is generated from these proceeds are helping to cover the cost of the program, covering the cost to borrow. So we don't see it.
I think the question is, if we're borrowing the $36 million and there's interest on that, then is the 36 million, the interest incorporated into that dollar amount? It's not on top of the 36 million, because otherwise the interest would be, I believe it was a 2% interest or something similar to that. Where is that 2%? I think that's the question you're asking, Satish.
Yeah,
Where is that
exactly. Yeah,
2%
so let's say either you will get only 34 million instead of 36, or you would be spending 38 million for 36, something like that, right? Like a couple of millions, let's say you have an against interest, which you are paying to somebody, some third party, because nobody will give us free money, right? So you're taking advance money, so you're paying a borrowing cost, whatever it is, or interest. Somewhere it has to show as an expense in our book, right? Somewhere, because we are spending, we are, what is that? I don't want to say losing, but we have an expense incurred due to this borrowing, right?
Well, again, doesn't show up on our books as an expense, and doesn't show up on our books as revenue. It's just the mechanism to borrow cash from for a short period of time.
So in our revenue, where we're getting our property taxes coming in, it will just show, well, it won't even show on our multi-year, because it'll just be, we're borrowing 36 million when we get the property tax, and we take 36 million out of our property taxes and we repay this loan.
We're
Okay.
borrowing $36 million of cash. When our property taxes come in, we're repaying that cash with our cash.
No, I got it how you're paying back, but there is, I think, probably either I'm not making my question clear, or you're not able to understand. So what I'm trying to say is, like, there is some money here we are paying to somebody, an extra money other than 36, right? 36 you take, 36 you pay, but it is not just 36 plus some interest you're paying back. That money would come from somewhere, or you have to account it. Well, that's okay. I think I can talk to you offline also and get some more information, but I'm sure there is already a money or an expense towards borrowing this loan in a way, or a cash advance.
I believe the interest is already embedded in that. So when we get our 36 million, we don't actually get 36 million. We owe back 36 million, but it's already embedded into the cost of it.
Okay. I think that's what, okay.
I can still follow up with you on a side, Satish.
Yeah, okay, fine. Thank you.
Thanks. And then Ava, please.
Oh, Stacy answered it. I was just trying to clarify what Satish was trying to ask. And Stacy says that the interest that would occur at the 2% would come out of the loan itself. And I think, given that it's coming out of the loan itself, the paperwork in the loan would show that expense incurred to offset, right? And I think in that case, we're borrowing up to 36 million, but I would say it would be 2% less, right?
Roughly, yeah. I mean, ultimately, yes, there is money that we are losing by going out for the loan.
Yep.
Any other comments or questions from the board?
Percent, not bad.
Okay, if not, then okay, was that a thumbs up or is that a hands raised? I'm sorry. Oh, thumbs up. Okay, great. All right. In that case, then, Aaron, maybe let's go ahead and go for a roll call vote, please.
Yes, trustee Leon,
I'm sorry, do we need to do public comments?
Oh, I thought we already did public comment.
we already did do public comment.
Okay, thanks. Aye.
Trustee Manhattan,
Aye.
trustee Chow,
Aye.
trustee Lu,
Aye. All right, great. Motion passes. And then with that, then, next item is adjournment. So I'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 3:14. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all for making
Thank
this
you all.
meeting.
You.
Appreciate it.
Do we need to sign